Hey, my name is Gavin, and I am the producer of Off the Notepad. In this first segment, we dive into the life of a man who is able to speak the native language of whoever they meet, and how a cup of coffee changes their whole life. That is all from me for now, and I will see you at the break.
Hi guys, welcome to Off the Notepad. I'm Victoria D'Angelo.
I'm Halika Campbell.
We are creative writing majors at Linfield University, experts in our field.
The best, most would say. A lot has changed since episode 1. I don't know if you can tell. Oh, okay. Anyways, this episode, we're starting with what will hopefully be a solid trend. Gonna introduce a protagonist that we're going to hopefully run some prompts with. Does it sound like a plan? You can't respond, you're the audience. It's a good try. Anyways. It's such a professional podcast we run.
So
I'm
professional.
So sorry.
Don't be sorry, it's perfect.
So, protagonist, I'm hoping for a range. I don't know what stance you want to take, but we're going with the mad scientist archetype. So this ranges from the young boy genius to repressed 29-year-old wreck of a human being. Typically, narratives usually punish this protagonist in like a more balanced sense. So it's like, oh, like Victor Frankenstein. You committed hubris, so I'm going to take your family away. The successes of this character often rely on their own intelligence. They try not to rely on other people. Good narratives will tell them to do it. Bad narratives will kill their entire family.
That's not stating any opinions.
No. I'm not saying anything, but also context clues. Fun little fact I've learned in my research of the mad scientist archetype. We have a lot of characters who are the mad scientists, and their names typically start with V.
Really?
Yes. Lots of V's, lots of Victors. We need to calm down on the Victor front. You are not being subtle if you change the C to a K.
Varian.
Victor, but from League. It's a gateway. I'm stopping myself now.
Okay.
But yeah, I think this character, this protagonist, I'm going to go with the repressed 29-year-old wreck because I think they're funny.
Okay.
Because they lack the social skills that any other human being would have, but it's worse because they're 29.
Sure.
Like with the boy genius, it's cute that they're awkward, but with the 29-year-old, it's like, you're a disaster. You need to talk.
Get yourself together, you utter virgin.
Listen. When was the last time you went outside? Pull it together.
Just pale as all hell.
Yes. But yeah, so that's my plan with this protagonist.
Okay, cool. All right, so the prompt that I have brought in today goes, and I do use you in here, so.
Oh, that's me.
Since you were born, you've had the power to speak to people in their native language with perfect fluency. It's been otherwise helpful in day-to-day life until today when you decided to try a little hole-in-the-wall coffee shop in your neighborhood. After asking for a house latte, you get a shocked look, followed by the barista pulling you into the back of the cafe and asking you to join them.
Oh. Unfortunately, whenever I think of a coffee shop, I can only think of the prompt you had given me for creative writing, the is it okay to spill coffee on my arch enemy in public when they can't do anything about it. So it's like my knee-jerk reaction is enemies to lovers. Like, join me, as in join my scary cult, but also maybe hit me up on the weekends. Maybe make some time for me in your schedule. With little hearts. I love these niche little prompts that are all about helpful little abilities as opposed to greater ones. Like the idea of just like you can speak to anyone in their native language. Does that mean you can speak to animals?
I speak to people in their native language, so I imagine any person, and it includes like sign language. This is totally sign language.
Oh yeah. You wouldn't believe this, but Victoria just mastered sign language right in front of me.
Gang signs.
Definitely not. Not on our humble little podcast.
Yeah, so like sign language and Morse code and Braille.
Wow, so really any language.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
All of those are available to you, and you walk up to this one person who's like, they know this language? What?
Because then it implies that this isn't a language. There's the obvious route. It's an alien language. It's a language that no one else is supposed to know. The barista is shape-shifting. Or this is a language that the barista made up. Like, it's just one that they kind of know, but maybe not one that they use all the time. Because then you could delve into some, like, real trauma with that. Like, the barista made this language with a childhood best friend.
Oh,
Childhood best friend died, because they always do. Never have a childhood best friend. Never do that.
It could also be, like, an extraordinarily old language, and this barista's, like, this otherly being who's lived for thousands of years.
Oh my god, yes. I love the idea of an immortal barista. It's like you could have chosen, you clearly have the intelligence to be so much more, but you choose this coffee shop. I'd love that. You chose your fate with the beans. God, that's so good. No, I feel like this protagonist really fits well with the mad scientist archetype, just because it's that idea of, well, I know all native languages, therefore I know basically everything. You can hide nothing from me.
Yeah, and, like, this person probably used their fluency to, like, freaking read every science book in the world.
Oh, yeah. Like, this is definitely, like, prodigy. I'm thinking, like, boy genius for this one. Like, 12-year-old, graduated college 3 times over. Embarrasses me with lack of college debt. Like, it's insane. It's also funny because imagining this 12-year-old, like, needing caffeine. Like, acting like a full adult. Like, yeah, I'm going to go to the hipster coffee shop. And
I'm gonna get a latte.
I'm gonna get a latte. And I'm not going to ask for any sweetener. It's like, you go, 12-year-old. But yeah, definitely, like, arrogant, ambitious boy genius for that one, I feel.
Yeah. Who's the them? Will you join us?
Oh, that's the scary part. Because, again, my heart jumps to cult. There's no such thing as a join us that doesn't end with joining a cult, you know?
What's the cult? What if it's a resistance?
That's, because then it could be a dystopian world. Maybe something is banned. Ooh. And maybe they use the language, like, among the resistance members. Ooh. Does this barista just ask, like, straight up, I want you to join us? Or do they have, like, a conversation where it ends with the barista going, you need to join our resistance? Because I feel like it's funnier if the barista's like, you need to join us now. And the 12-year-old is like, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. This barista could, like, just hear this language and I imagine, like, this barista's, like, they hear this language that they're not expecting anyone else to speak, and they're like, what happened? How did you get away? Where did you learn this language? Something like that.
That'd be a really good plot hook into, like, a larger plot where the, like, the 12-year-old doesn't know about this resistance, doesn't know about this secret revolution. Maybe it's a matter that, like, the government is handling secretly. So it's like when the immortal barista hears this, it's like, oh my god, you escaped. That's amazing. And the 12-year-old is like, I have no clue what you're talking about, and I have 5 degrees. Could be very, boy wonder. Like,
what if immortality was something that was completely normal at one point, and then the government's like, no.
We need to take down this immortal race. That would be interesting, too. Because then it's like, do we discriminate against those with longer lifespans? That's bizarre. That's strange. Why would you do that?
Do we not now discriminate against old people?
Okay, boomer.
You got me. I've told you guys about the car accident, my car accident. I was hit by a car at the ripe age of 16. It was an old woman who happened to live next door.
Oh, no.
It was a green Prius. Yeah, so since then I've developed this hatred for old women.
Oh.
That's why it was awful for you to say that. It says, like, routinely, Halika Campbell is ageist and hates old women. You reminded me, yes, my bad.
No.
I just lost face.
No, but, like, it would not surprise me at all if we had a immortal someone or another who gets a throne or some sort of leadership position, and they're there for a long fucking time, and you have these mortal people who just kind of go along with it, and then they're like, why are we going along with this bullshit? Just because he's immortal.
Yeah. So then they change hands. That would be interesting. So then it's a revolution within a revolution.
Yeah.
Ooh. Because then you have that moral area of like, well, who's right? Like, we're all just oppressing each other. At the end of the day, is a revolution really a revolution or just a movement?
Yeah.
And that's where things get so scary.
Yeah.
I love this, like, innocent boy genius in the middle of it all. Like, started out his day, just wanted some coffee, and now he's being asked to join the fight with these immortal beings.
Join a revolution.
And you could have, like, the cliche of, he's never gotten along with anyone his age, so of course his only friends are a bunch of immortal baristas. I like to think they're a cult and they work in different coffee shops.
I would love if he's, like, this is kind of tropey, but, like, he'd be on the government side at first.
Oh,
He'd
absolutely.
Be like, immortals? What the fuck?
Like, that sounds fake, and also you should go to jail.
But he'd be like this smart ass, stick up his ass kid, be like, yeah, but I'm gonna go along with it because I can bring you guys to the police.
Right. Or he's interested in...
Ooh, he wants to dissect one of them.
He definitely wants to dissect one of them. If he's like unhinged 12-year-old boy.
Oh god.
Or if he's just like, I can capitalize on both. I can get the information these immortals have, then reap off the success of turning them in. So he's going to get the best of both worlds. But unfortunately for the 12-year-old boy, this is a narrative. And that means you have to connect with the other people in the plot. He ends up liking the immortals and doesn't want to turn them in. But maybe he already has a government contact.
Then comes the betrayal.
There's the betrayal.
And then he uses his boy genius powers to break him out of jail.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then, ooh. Because then you could end the story in, like, a number of ways. But instinctively, I would think, like, oh, he frees them, but they're not going to forgive him because he's just proven them right again. So they're going to leave.
Oh,
They're just going to disappear off the face of the earth.
my heart.
It'd be so sad for this 12-year-old. What's up, producer man?
And then, wait, I'm so sorry.
Never mind, producer man.
And then he's gonna spend the rest of his childhood and all up into his adulthood until he's the 29-year-old
yes,
who's still searching for his friends.
Oh, I love him.
Yes, producer man.
Yes, producer man.
So you went with the direction that I was gonna bring it. It's just like because the other cast members of this story are immortal. Like, you could play around with, like, this boy genius getting older.
Oh, yeah, and seeing what that does to him. Because that would be a great sequel book, I feel. Like, the first book is all about boy genius is struggling with, like, I want to turn them in, but I don't want to turn them in, and, like, coming to that end. And then second book is repressed 29-year-old Rec is trying to find the immortal so he can properly apologize.
Mm-hmm.
That would be so sad. That would break my heart.
I want one of the characters in this narrative, it doesn't even have to be boy genius, but I want one of the characters to be terrified of death. Like, to have a legitimate phobia of death and go up to these immortals and be like, how can I become like you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That would be, like, our secondary protagonist, I feel.
Yeah.
He's, like, super paranoid. It's maybe relied on the boy genius to pull them through.
Mm-hmm.
And just comes to this point where they're like, I don't want to die. And I want to stop relying on my friends to keep me living.
Mm-hmm.
That would also be heartbreaking, because then what if the immortals end up really liking the secondary protagonist and take them with them?
Oh.
So boy genius loses two big parts of his life in one go.
Yeah. Does that character have to die before the end of the narrative?
Ooh. I feel like there's a couple different options. Like, they either have to die, they have to become immortal,
Yeah.
or they have to reconcile their fear of death and still want to live among the immortals.
What if they became immortal and then died?
Ooh, like, just got shot right through. That'd be sad.
Mm-hmm.
Or to become immortal, you have to die.
Oh!
So then reconciling that fear of death and not dying.
And becoming immortal.
And so you could hit all three. Even, like, focusing on a protagonist like that would be interesting. A character who has they've overcome their fear of death. They've become immortal. But what happens now? Because I feel like that's the end of a good character arc.
Yeah.
So then who are you after that point?
I mean, until now, our definition of this character, the only thing to define them has been they are terrified of death. So as soon as death is taken off the table, they're kind of two-dimensional now.
Mm-hmm. Because now they can't die. Like, I know there's that urge to, like, go, well, now that they can't die, they're doing everything that could have gotten them killed. But it's like, you still have that urge to not die.
Yeah.
So
Especially
then it's
so
like,
soon into immortalhood.
Mm-hmm. So then does this character become more bold?
They become a barista.
They become a barista. It's the most dangerous life choice of all. That'll be our ad roll for today. Barista insurance. Death by coffee happens more than you think. Keep an eye out for your loved ones. Invest today. Yes, we are sponsored. I'm so glad you asked. God, I was going to say something, but I can't remember what. I almost want them to be bored. Like, now that they don't have that fear of death, they're not, like, more bold, they're not more daring. They're the same person they were before. They're just not scared of death now, and they don't know what to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because then that's where their character arc could pick up in the sequel book.
Mm-hmm.
So where it's like, now they have to decide what their purpose is.
Yeah.
Okay. Have we exhausted this one? Do we want to move on to another one?
Sure.
I hope you all enjoyed that first segment as much as I have. In this next segment, we see a businessman depressed from his day-to-day life and how an inheritance allows him to experience life anew.
Okay, do you want to introduce your protagonist?
Sure. Let's
I'm ready.
see. Let's do... So, my protagonist is a businessman who hates his job and has no social life.
Victoria, that's my favorite protagonist in the entire world. Did you know that? Did you know that I, Halika Campbell, have a firm belief that by the age 27, every man should be dead inside and, like, hate his job and be miserable? Because I think that's the best kind of person you can be at age 27.
Have you seen the original release for... I'm so sorry, this is off topic. Have you seen the original release for what Deku was supposed to be?
Yes, yes!
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, that...
Yes, no, it's exactly. No, like, male characters who are absolutely miserable in their late 20s and early 30s are my favorite. I think they make for great protagonists because you can either make them happy or make them even more miserable.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't go wrong with either option.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to give you this prompt.
Okay.
Okay. A world-renowned inventor leaves his fortune in the hands of a complete and total stranger, the protagonist. Their final request being only that the stranger must complete their life's work. So, I have 3 options for their life's work.
Okay.
The idea is that these are relatively impossible tasks.
Okay.
So the first is cross-species communication.
Ooh.
So stick-up-ass businessman hates his job, gets this fortune and is told that he must communicate with animals. Or plants. I was really hoping for plants somehow.
Well, my first thought is the guy would say, no, fuck that.
Exactly. It's like, who in their right mind? Like, I'm miserable with my job, but not that miserable.
He would quit his job.
He would quit his job as soon as he confirmed it was real.
Yeah.
So I feel like he'd be hounded by, like, inheritors.
You know, I could actually see it going like this. So he gets a message, whatever, says, here's my fortune. He's like, okay, that's fake. But then he confirms it, sees it, quits his job, starts doing these really expensive, fun things, finds out he gets bored. And then he's like, okay, I guess I'll take a look into this life work since I'm bored.
Ooh. And then do you think he, like, takes up an interest in it?
He could.
Yeah, because I feel like he could either
Or he finds a love interest at a marine park.
I'm going to propose something that should not be proposed. His love interest is a dolphin. That's right. Cross-species communication goes both ways. Yeah, we're going to need a warning tagline on that. I didn't say that. You
A
didn't
warning
hear
tag
that.
for bestiality.
Maybe just a little. Please don't. We're going to put a quick pause. Please don't submit stories with bestiality for Camus. I know you can come up with some great reason as to how that is space and sharing space. I'm going to ask you not to. As a friend. As a fellow A fellow writer, don't do that to me.
Please.
I'm begging you. Would it be a romantic story, like moving, hopefully human love interest? Like, would it grow into a romantic comedy then? Because it's like, it's this businessman, who's like, I always imagine him not being good with animals at all.
Yeah.
So he's like dropping the ball with this research as soon as he gets into it. He doesn't know what he's doing. Every creature seems to hate him.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe his love interest is like a fellow, maybe like a veterinarian he goes to, and he's like, can you please tell me how I can not scare these animals?
Yeah.
But then, like, would that be acceptable to have a romantic plotline in?
It'd be like classic rom-com.
You think so? I feel the same way.
Yeah. I could see him like going to, I keep thinking marine park. He goes to a marine park and he's like yelling at the animals and can't get them to talk back to him, and he runs into a dolphin handler or something who's cuddling with her dolphin. And she's laughing at him because he's so hopeless.
Oh, yeah. I think, because then we'd be going with like the very typical setup, the shut-off man, the very happy-go-lucky woman who's like gotten along with everyone her entire life. Yeah. She just doesn't have as much wealth as he might. Because then that like begs the question, well, what if we didn't have that typical female lead? What if it was a woman who was very closed off and also bad with animals? Like, yes, she's a dolphin handler, but the dolphins aren't very fond of her. So then it becomes this conversation of, you work with dolphins, right? You can teach me how to talk to them? No. Thank you for asking. I can't even feed them.
They spit the heads back out at me.
They actually, like, hate me. They somehow learned how to speak and told me that.
This woman actually can speak to them. They just hate her.
They just hate her, and they let her know.
Oh, no.
Because then it could be, like, this romantic story between two very awkward adults, like, trying to just make life work for them. Neither were super happy in their original jobs, and they've kind of, like, come together under very bizarre circumstances. Mm-hmm. So I think it could be, like, a very engaging screenplay. Mm-hmm. Don't cast Adam Sandler in that. I will sue.
Why is he the person I was thinking of?
It's always Adam Sandler with, like, the hot blonde bimbo. Or worse, the hot blonde MILF. It's like, what are you doing? Yeah, we're gonna need taglines for bestiality and MILF mention. I'm so sorry. I cannot apologize enough. Please don't not sponsor us.
Oh gosh.
Oh, but I have two other life works if you want to hear those. And see if that changes our dolphin trainer romantic storyline.
Yes, please.
It probably will.
Okay.
So the second one is very sci-fi, interdimensional travel.
Ooh.
So I saw a couple of examples online where people were like, because this prompt is derived off of a couple of different ones. Some of these prompts were like, oh, the inventor leaves behind a mysteriously empty doorway in his attic. And once the project is working, the doorway lights up, but you don't know where it leads. So it's like that idea of, just wandering into different dimensions. So obviously you would have to set up what does another dimension look like.
So what if this businessman, he gets his notification, he's like, fuck that. Then he gets confirmation. He quits his job, does all this fun stuff. And then he gets contacted by the people who were in contact with the scientist before he died. Because the scientist was also like, hey, I'm giving my fortune to this guy.
Right.
Go talk to him. And these people are like, hey, we need you to test out this stuff.
We need you to... That would be really cool, especially because even if we take out the part where he's like speedrunning being alive at age 27 or however old he is, doing all the flights to Hawaii and what have you, like, just taking that part out, maybe businessman is just like thrown into this. Like, they tell him, we need you now. Yeah. Almost kidnapping him, because I feel like it's very forced.
God, please kidnap him.
Oh, yeah, he's kidnapped. He's been kidnapped. He doesn't know where he is. He's terrified.
We've given you X amount of time to go be a playboy, and now you're going into this other dimension. Go be a playboy there.
No, they, like, put him in a suit. It doesn't fit him. He's confused. But also, he's a little too okay with the idea that he might die. He's a little done with life.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting if we were talking about this in the terms of like another dimension is another timeline. So it's like he goes into this other dimension and he's like about to prove it's real, and then he realizes that he is more successful in this other timeline.
Oh, he's so successful. He's happy. He has a wife and kids.
Yeah, because you know what? I don't think he's successful profit-wise. He can't be.
No.
Like, he starts off as grumpy businessman. Like, he has to see happy family man.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's rough. It's like, it's a little cliche. But, like, talking about how capitalism sucks the life out of you, I'm always down for that.
Yeah.
I make space for that. But yeah, so then what does he do? Like, does he just accept that he's just happier there and he's going to leave that timeline alone? Or is he going to take that for himself?
Oh, he's going to try and take that man's place.
Oh, he has to. He has to. So then we're talking grumpy businessman and alternate universe happy, not businessman.
What is this businessman willing to do to take the happy man's place? Like, are we thinking kidnapping or are we thinking murder?
I don't.
What if he tries kidnapping and it doesn't work?
Oh yeah,
and then it escalates to murder.
I like that because I like that there's an implication that he gets into a fight with his AU self, where his AU self is like, "You chose business over this? Like, you're an idiot. Like, did you not watch all of the Disney movies growing up? Like, what do you mean you chose business? What do you mean you're unhappy? Like, you should have just been me."
You should have just made all the right choices, God.
Like, because you know what? I like the implication that AU, not businessman, is more of an ass than regular businessman. Like, he hasn't been humbled by the grind. He hasn't been, like, his ego is out of check. Like, it is awful. So in a sense, like, he is the shittier person.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I can see grumpy businessman being pushed to murder. He just seems so tired.
I could see him hitting the man.
Oh yeah, blunt force trauma.
It could be an accidental murder.
Yeah. Oh, and then he has to like take up this life.
And then get sucked out when all of these scientists are like, okay, enough of that world.
I like the idea that he has to like there's a button he has to push to go back. And the scientists are like constantly like in communications are like, hey, like it's so cool that you made it and now it's time to come back. Because then it's like, grumpy businessman doesn't want to do that. He has choice and he has money, and that's not a great combination. Do you think, because we're talking about him assimilating into this new life, do you think he does it well?
No.
He can't, right? Like, the man has no experience being a family man. He doesn't know what that means.
No, this man doesn't know how to be a wife. He doesn't know how to be a dad. Wife.
He doesn't know how to be a wife, and that's the problem.
Let me try that again.
The version got hitched to another man.
Like,
this man doesn't know how to be a husband. He doesn't know how to be a dad to his kids. Like, the most that he knows is probably what he's seen on television, which is bad examples.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think he tries like all the cliches, totally weirds his spouse out. Because I think you could play the spouse to be a gay man, and that would be really interesting if they're a gay couple. Because then it leads to this question.
He gets them flowers and they're allergic. Sorry.
Oh yeah, they're allergic. Makes them dinner, they're allergic. Like, it's so bad. Doesn't know where
the kid is allergic.
That's even worse, especially depending on how old the kid is.
Yeah.
Because again, if it's a straight couple and they're married, then it's like you don't know your own child, like your child has been raised with us. If it's an adopted child, that becomes a whole different issue. Because then it's like it just looks so bad, and they're a gay couple too, so it's like, I don't know, neighborhood women speak, and it's disgusting. But yeah, so like playing on the stresses of married life while also trying to fit into a life that you don't deserve because you never earned it.
Yeah.
Trying to fill a space you don't necessarily fit in.
Oh.
All great ideas that should be submitted to KMIS by December 17th.
Please submit.
Please, I'm begging. You don't understand. We need submissions. I am once again asking you as a friend.
We need them like we need to breathe air.
Like, please. Please, I'm dying. Would you believe that? I'm dying.
They're holding a gun to my head.
We're not supposed to say that, but they really are. Listen, we need results.
No, look there. There's one submission. Don't shoot.
Oh, amazing. We've had to start faking submissions. So they won't kill us. If you're interested in seeing next week's episode, please consider submitting. Okay.
Thank you for listening to Off the Notepad,
Episode 2.
episode 2. We had a lot of fun. Don't forget to submit to KMIS. The submissions close December 17th.
Oh, yeah, and we have a lot of fun events.
Yeah.
You hear that? Yeah, that was from our events planner. That's how excited we are. No, really, we've got some great things planned. We'll see you there. If I don't see you there, I will take legal action. I'm not afraid.
Thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.